Okay, well, good morning, folks, and welcome. Chumash and Rashi, the Torah portion, Vayeitzei. We continue with the fifth portion. We're continuing. Yaakov is married more than once, and now he has 11 of the 12 tribes of Israel, and he's trying to make a living. Today we're going to learn how he's going to make a living, miraculously. Okay, let's get right into it. A bit lengthy.
You're going to become a shepherd.
That's right. All the forefathers were shepherds. Okay. So we are the fifth reading, Bereshis, Genesis chapter 30, verse 28. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu shehakol nidbarei.
Amen.
Chaim Rocha. So, Vayeimer. So he's been working as a shepherd for Lavan. Now it's about time. He wants to leave. Lavan convinces him stay. And now they're making a deal. So he says, "Nok v'schar chalai v'eteinam." So Lavan says to him that specify your wage, and I will give it to you. Right? In other words, you want to work for yourself now. Nok v'schar Rashi, specify your wage. It should be understood Targuma according to Onkeles. Perish agarcho. Spell out your wage. Now specify it. Tell me what you want. Okay. Sounds good. Well, let's see how it goes. So Yaakov responded to him. Excuse me. And he said, Ata Yadaita, you know, es asher avaditicha, that which I have labored and worked for you. Ves asher haya miknecha iti. Right, you're fully aware on what the livestock were with me. Rashi 29. That which the livestock was with me. In other words, you gave me a very small amount of livestock that came to my hand that I should take care of at the beginning. And how many there were. You know. In other words, you know what I've done for you, working for you, right? How I grew your livestock. Continuing Rashi. Ki ma'at hayalacha, because there was very little for you, lefanai before me, and it expanded greatly. V'yivarach Hashem oischa, and God blessed you, leragli, to my foot, meaning because of me. Bata, now masayese, and now masayese, when will I make gamanechi, me too, lebesi, for my household? In other words, I've been working for you, and the wealth came to you. It's about time. He has 11 kids. He's got to work for his family, right? When is that going to happen? Rashi leragli, to my foot. In other words, I don't want to work for you anymore, right? This literally means to my foot. Bishvil b'yas ragli etzocha, because of my foot that arrived to you. In other words, because I arrived to you by foot. That's how he did come, right? Im ragli b'yas havracha. So with my coming, my coming here by foot, came the blessing to you. Kamay ha'am asher beraglecha, like the entire people that are at foot. La'am asher beraglai, the people are, which means haboy mimi, that came with me. It's just a figure. It's a euphemism, right? It's a euphemism, right? That it doesn't mean literally at my foot, right? It means because of me, right? Together with me.
You look at history, wherever there's a big group of Jews, the whole country was very successful and prosperous.
Right.
When the Jews left, it went down.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I too have to do something for my household, for the needs of my household. Presently, I'm not working for my needs, except for my sons. I must also work with them. The psalm come to supplement them, to support them. That's what it means also. So I have to support them. They're not kids anymore, right? So I have to support them, not just myself, I guess. Okay, 31.
We know all about it.
Vayemer, and he said, "Ma, it's in law." So he responded, "Okay, so what should I give you? Fine." Vayemer Yaakov, lo yisitin li muma. Don't give me anything. Yaakov responded, "Im taaseh li adavar hazeh ashuva ve'era tzayincha eshmor." So don't give me anything. If you will do this thing for me, right? Adavar hazeh ashuva, I will resume pasturing and guarding your flock. Ashuva, I will return. There, and I will pasture. Soincha, your flock. Eshmor, I will guard. In other words, I'm not asking for anything. I'll work for me and I'll work for you. Really is what he's saying. So now he explains. Ever bechol soincha. I will pass through your entire flock. Hayom today. V'hosim misham, and I will take from there. I will remove from there, right? From the whole flock. Kolse, every lamb, nakud, that is speckled, talu, dappled, a kolse chum, and any brownish lamb, bakvasim, of the sheep,
Something.
biksavim, of the sheep, vitalu, dappled, vinakud, and speckled, and speckled. Va'izim, among the goats, v'hayaschari, that will be my wage. Okay, we need to understand what's going on over here. Let's see Rashi. Nokut, speckled. Menumar, it's dotted. Bechababurais, dakes, with fine spots. Like my nekuda, like a point. In Old French, pointure. So speckled means like it's a sheep that's dotted, right? Or a goat.
It's almost like freckles.
Like freckles, yeah. Yeah, like freckles, yeah.
Man.
Tolu, dappled, Lashon Tele, patch, with wide, large spots, right? That means wide, large spots. Chum, brownish. Shechum, auburn. Doimele adoim, it's similar to red. It's a reddish brown, in other words. And rose in Old French. Lashon Mishnah, it's a language of the Mishnah, similar term. Shechamit tis limitos levana, reddish brown. It was found to be white. Just showing that the term means like a reddish brown. Leinin hatua, regarding the color of the crops. Okay. V'hayaschari, that will be my wage. In other words, what will be my wage? He's removing them from his flock, right? Those that will be born mikano lahaba, from here onwards, will be nikudim vitluyim, speckled and dappled, right, with freckles or with blotches, beizim, among the goats, eshchumim rather, and auburn, the kvasim of the sheep, usually they will be mine. Oisam sheyeshnan achshav, those that are presently speckled and dappled among the goats and auburn among the sheep, hifish mehem, he separated them. I will take care of them. Right? Sheif kidem biad banecha, and entrust them in the hand of your sons. So he's taking out, here, listen, the speckled, the dappled, the auburn, right? The reddish, right, brown of the sheep. He's removing them from the flock. Your sons will take care of those. I'm going to get the same kind as that, but not from your sheep. not from yours, right? I'm going to get the same. That will be mine, right? The offspring. Okay. Shaloi Taimarli, that you shouldn't say to me, why are you giving it to his sons, to Lavan's sons? And others, not his sons are taking care of that. It'll be Lavan's sons that will take care of it, right? Just 1 second. I thought he didn't have sons. Right, that's why Rachel went out with the sheep. That's why Rachel went out with the sheep. So yeah, he had no sons. So I don't know what that means exactly, but okay, keep that under your hat. That you should say those who are born now, Elohayu Sham Mitrila, they were among the flock that were there to start with. Right? In other words, I'm not taking from your flock. Right? These, right? Void, and furthermore, he wants to set them aside those particular goats and sheep. Shalai Temarli, that you shouldn't say to me, Al Yidei Hazacharim, by means of the males, Shehem Nekudim Tluyim, which are speckled and dappled, Tiladna Hanakevas Dugmasim, that the females gave birth, ones to resemble them, Mikanda Elach from here on. In other words, my sheep will be like those sheep, but they will not be begat from those sheep. Right? Those sheep will begat such sheep. So don't say it was because it was your sheep that they gave birth to similar to them. No, it'll be from the other sheep and goats that will become, which will be irregular, that they should be freckled, patched, spotted, or auburn from the sheep. Right? Now it's going to be quite miraculous. Okay.
And the distinction is going to be clear.
Yep, exactly. Let's continue. The answer be tzidkasi. And answer will be answered, or like testify, be with me, tzidkasi, my integrity, my tzidkis, my righteousness, integrity. Vayayim, machar, in the day after, meaning in the future, ki tavai al sechari, because my wage will come lefanecha before you. Kol asher inenu nalku b'toliv ba'izim b'chum b'kvasim ganavu iti. Any that is not speckled or dappled among the goat or the sheep, or brownish among the sheep, the goats, right? A brownish among the sheep is stolen in my possession. In other words, I'm only going to get the speckled, the dappled, and the brownish, right? Anything else will be stolen. Right? It'll be a testimony that it's stolen. He's putting it right. It'll be considered like I stole it. Right? In other words, he's saying this in advance. Right? This is what's going to happen. Right? Rashi, answer B. Let my integrity testify before me. If you're going to suspect me that I'm taking anything of yours, let my integrity testify for me. When my integrity will come, and testify regarding my wage before you. You will not find amongst my herd, but those are speckled or dappled amongst the goats, right? And any which you will find among them, that's not speckled, or totally, or dappled, or chum, or auburn amongst the sheep, we will presume that it was stolen from you. And the rest in my possessions through theft. Right? I stole it. So he's telling this is what's going to happen. Is that clear? Okay. 34. Lavan said, okay, wonderful. I like this deal. Let it only be your words, what you say. Rashi, number 34. Yes. Loshin Kabbalah's dvarim is an acceptance of his words. If only it should be as you say. Should only be that's what you want. I only wish, yes. Okay, 35. Yeah, we're good so far? Okay. And he removed on that day, it's a tiyashim. He removed on that day the ringled, the akudim, and the dappled, the hatluyim, and the speckled, that's called ha'izim, and all of the goats, Nikudais, Vatuluyais, that had Kol Asher Lavan, so he removed on that day all the speckled and the dappled and the white ones that had white on it. And all the auburn of the sheep, and he put them in the hands of his sons. Rashi 35. Yasar, and he removed Lavan by Yemahu. Lavan removed on that day. Hatiyashim. How do we know it was Lavan? Why not it was him? I thought it was.
It is
Okay.
Lavan, for sure.
Hatiyashim.
Like then Biat Banan.
Not Banav.
It's the sons of Lavan.
Banav would also if Yaakov did it. Banav, his sons. No.
Yeah, they're too young. They're just born.
No. Hatiyashim. Okay. He goats. Izim Zacharim. Thank you. Kol Asher Lavan. Kol Asher Lavan boy. Everything that had white on it. Kol Asher Haisa boy. Whatever had Chavavuris Lavana white spots. Beaten, and he put them Lavan. Biyad Banav in the charge of his sons. Okay. 36. Thank you. Okay. Yasem derech shloishes yomim, and he separated Yasem. He placed derech a path of shloishes yomim 3 days between him ubein Lavan and Lavan. Yaakov Raya is saying Lavan Haneisres, and Yaakov continued to pasture the rest of Lavan's flock. Rashi 36 Haneisres, that which remained. Haru'uya shebehem, those are the low grade among them. There's the sick ones and the barren ones. Hakarais shenem ela shiraim, that were nothing but the remainder, like leftover. He doesn't mean literally just what was left over, because that's obvious what was left, right? It means they were like leftovers, like dinner leftovers that you ate 3 days later that had no more, that were kind of weak, right? Meaning the weak ones, the sick ones, the barren ones. That's the leftovers. That's what Lavan gave over to him. Okay. 37. Vayikach lo Yaakov, and Yaakov took for himself makil. He took for himself a rod. Livnei lach veluz va'armoi. He took a moist rod that was a rod of poplar and hazel and chestnut. Right? V'yifatzil bahem pitzolis levanes machsov halavan asher al kol hamaklis. So he peeled away the white stripping of this rod, of this wood. It was a piece of wood, right? Laying bare the white of the rods. Okay? Rashi. 37. Makil livne, a rod of poplar. Eitzhu. This is a particular tree. Mishmoy livne, and its name is livne kamoi, the same as the verse says, Tachse elan v'livne, beneath the oak and the poplar, right? And elan is an oak tree, and livne is a poplar tree. Okay. Okay. And I say that it was called a tremble in Old French. Okay, Shulavan, which is white, right? So it was most trees are dark, right? This is a whitish, right? Lach, it's moist, kishu ratuv, when it's fresh, right? The branch is fresh. veluz, hazel, v'aid lukach, and additionally he took makel luz, a rod of hazel. So it's another rod. Eight shegidlim boy, a tree in which they grow, agaidim dakim, small nuts. And in Old French, coldre. The armoin, a chestnut, Old French, chastinar.
Kashmiya.
Pitzolais, strippings, klufim, many peelings. Shaya oisim menuka, menumar. He made it spotted, stripped it. Machshav alavan literally mean the laying bare of white. Gilui loivin shamakel, exposing the whiteness of the stick. Okay. Kishaya koifa, when he would peel it, hayanira benigla loivin shaloi, the whiteness when he peeled it would became exposed, but makam akolov, where it was in the peeled place. 38. Vayeitzei, and he stuck as a maklis the sticks asher pizza that he peeled berahatim in the troughs. B'hashkoisais hamayim, in the drinking troughs of water. Right? What is a trough? Is where the cattle, the livestock go to drink from. Right? That's where he placed them. Asher tavaina hatzain, that the flock would come lishtais to drink the neicha hatzain, facing the flocks, the yachmana, and that they would become heated beboyam lishtais when they came to drink. Okay, this long Rashi over here. What's going on over here? Rashi in 38. Vayeitzei, so he stuck. Targumai, Unkelis translates it, udi'itz, Lashon tchiva uneitzahu. It means inserting and sticking it. But Lashon Arami in an Aramaic language, that's what it means. Harbe yesh, and there are many examples related in the Aramaic word, but Talmud in the Talmud. Datsa, Vishalfa. He's just bringing different examples of Datsa, Midei, Datsa Kamai, Datsa, Ela Shemikatsu, Al Shene. Okay. Birahatim, in the streams, in the trough. The Merutza Samayim, in the streaming of the water. The Reiches Asuyas Ba'aretz, in the pools that were made in the ground. Lashkois Asham Hatzain, to water the sheep there. So they made a trough. It was in the ground, and there was a stream of water that would go through it, and that's how they would get their drink, right? Asher Tavaina, which the flocks would come, Birahatim, in these streams in the trough. Asher Tavai Hatzain Lishtais, the flocks would come to drink. V'sham Hitzig Amaklis, and there the sticks, the rods, and the Nechatzoin were facing the flock. Okay? Vayachman, no, Vayam Lishtais, and then we become heated. What does that mean? They became heated. The animal would see the rods, right? Because it was stuck in the trough. And it would jump back. And the male, that was a female, and the male would fertilize it. The eldest, and they would bear children which resembled them, meaning resembled it rather, which is what? The spotted stick. Right? It resembled the spotted stick. Rabbi Yeshua says, the water became semen for their innards. They didn't need to become impregnated from a male. First explanation was it frightened them, right? Others, it frightened them, and they moved back. And because they saw this spotted, so I guess that made the indelible mark imprint upon them, that now the male mated with them, and that impregnated them, right? That's the first opinion. The second opinion is that no, it was from the water itself. That they became heated. so that they would drink. So Rashi's bringing two opinions over here of what it means. That, right?
Wow.
All right, fascinating, fascinating. So like it says over here, so the word, because they would be in heat, right? In the heat of the moment. So then they didn't need a male, and the word containing the characteristics of because it's got a prefix that's male, which is yud. If the prefix was tough, it would be female, but it has a nun hey at the end, which its suffix is female. So in other words, this word of being heated has male and female um, term prefix suffix, right? And therefore, in the heating of itself of drinking the water was enough to impregnate them. That's how Rashi is learning it from the word.
Saying that the water is turned into a, seed.
Into seed.
Wow, a miracle.
Yeah. Well, either way, it was a miracle, right? Because remember, none of these were spotted or dappled, right? And by looking at, and the first, right, by looking at it, it just made, but it's interesting, halachically, that in relations between husband and wife, your thoughts are very, very important. The thoughts that you have in relations, because from those thoughts, you affect the offspring. You affect the offspring.
Also what you see.
Well, your thoughts is what you see, not what you see. It's what you're thinking. What you're thinking. That's what makes the indelible mark from seeing. Is there? Thank you. Thank you.
When the woman come out of a mikveh, it's important that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Also, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 39. V'yechemu hatzayin, and the flock became heated. El hamaklois, because of the sticks, due to these sticks. Teladna hatzayin, and they gave birth, the flock, akudim, ringled, and ikudim, speckled, and tluyim, and dappled. Now, okay, let's see Rashi. Akudim now is something different, right? Nikudim we had before, and Teluyim we had before, if you recall. But we have another word here, akudim, ringed ones. Let's see Rashi. El amaklo is to the rods, el madris amaklo is by the side of the rods.
How a new copy, Rabbi? How is it?
Thank you, thank you. Right. Okay. So it's not the rods themselves, but it's the site of the rods, right? Where Rashi is bringing out over here. Akudim, ringled ones, means bound ones. The word akud means bound. Mishunim, they were distinct. The makaimamaki dasam, in the place that they are bound. Heim karsule yadeim ragleim, which are the ankles and the forelegs of the hind legs. In other words, that there was also there. They had a different, I guess, a different color there. Not exactly clear on that. Okay, Akvasim he freed. So Yaakov now separated the lambs. Yaakov eating pnei hatzayin, and he put the face of the flocks el ha'akud to the ringed one that we just spoke about. The chol chum batzayin Lavan, and all the brownish ones among Lavan's flock. Second. And all of the, also all kol chum of batzayin Lavan, and all of the brownish ones among Lavan's, v'yashes loy adarim levadei, and among Lavan's flocks, and he made separate herds of his own. V'loy shasam al tzoin Lavan, and he did not mingle them with Lavan's flocks. In other words, this is now the offspring, right? So he didn't usually, you put a whole flock, everything comes together, right? They go in a flock, right? But now he separated them because the original ones belong to Lavan. It's only the offspring that he is taking for himself, right? So he now is separating them.
Was that not kidding?
Why is that not?
Affecting the, you're doing something to gain from it.
Well, that was the deal.
Someone else's,
That was the deal he made. I don't understand. That was the deal. But I don't understand the question. That's what they made up. He said, "I'm very happy with this."
yeah, but it's not a natural thing.
So what? What's the difference?
It is a difference.
What's the difference? That's what they made up.
Doing something that's unnatural to gain from this.
So what's wrong with that? Natural and unnatural are both God in this world. And, he figured, listen, he's giving him a losing proposition. How's he going to get, if he removed all of the speckled and the dappled and the brownish ones, right? How's he going to get anything that looks like that if they were all removed? And not only that, he's got weak ones, he's got barren ones. Okay?
Well, now
So-
he'll have nothing, Laban.
No, he's only taking the offspring. He's not taking the original ones. That's what he just said. That's what the verse just said. He just separated the original ones from now the offspring. Usually they would go in a flock together.
So the originals are original, but he's not getting any new ones. The offsprings are going to be.
Yeah,
all
but that was the
others.
deal. Okay, but that's the deal they made. But it wasn't just that. The deal was he would get specific ones, right? He figured if anything that will come from the offspring will be like, you give
Was Lavan
you
aware of
give
this?
yeah, that's the deal they made. Exactly. Anyway, let's go into Rashi. Let's hear what Rashi has to say. Okay. The Kvasim Yifrid Yaakov. So he separated the lambs, Hanoldas Hakudim Nekudim, that the ones who were born ringed and speckled, he separated and set them apart by themselves. Also, and he made them individual herds. And he would then lead that ringed herd, lifnei atzayin. Then he would take the ringed herd, lifnei atzayin, before the flock, pnei atzayin, and the face of the sheep, holchos achareim, would walk behind them, tzayfis aleim, and they would look forward towards these sheep that were akudim, that were ringed,
Yes.
right? They would look towards them. And this is what that should that he put the face of the flock towards the ringed ones. That the face of the flock was el akudim, to the ringed ones, el kol chum shematza, and towards all the brownish ones that he found, batzoin Lavan, among the flock of Lavan. I don't understand how they got the brown ones. They were separated. Not clear on that. How could they face the brown sheep when they were separated by 3-day journey? I'm not clear on that. How that happened. The Yashes loy adarim, and he formed for himself separate droves, kamashipirashi, like I explained. So I'm not exactly clear on that. Do you follow my question? Right? In other words, they're gazing.
For you, Rabbi. I look awful.
Well, you take a whole plate for that. So waste. Don't waste. Don't waste.
Yeah, but
Don't waste. Okay. Thank you, Shmuel.
we love you, Rabbi. Anyway.
All right. 41. Vahaya the chol yachem hatzoin, and it was whenever there was the heating of the flock, hamikushares. How does it translate here? Hamikushares, early bearing ones. They were in, right? Visham Yaakov, and Yaakov places Amaklis, the sticks, le'ene atzain, the rahatim, to the eyes of the flock that in the rahatim, in the trough, the yachmeina, to heat them up, Amaklis, to stimulate them because of the rods. Rashi 41. Hamikus sharais, early bearing, should be under Targumai, abachirais, that give birth early. There's not there's no evidence in the Torah to support that this is what it means. Menachem Chibraim achiteifel b'koshrim. Okay, v'hi kasher v'kesher oisam niskashres yachad l'maher iburam, to hurry their pregnancy. In other words, they give birth early. That's the idea over here. You're going to give birth early. All right. Okay. 42. The ativ hatzain, and the concerning those that would be late bearers of bearing late, lo yasim, he did not place. V'haya atufim lelavan v'akshurim leYaakov, and the late bearer ones were for Lavan, and the early bearing ones for Yaakov. Let's see Rashi 42. Ba'atif, the sheep that would be late bearing, Lashon Ichur, it's a terminology of delay. Kitargumai, as Unkelis translates, Lishais. Menachem Chibrai, Ima Machalotzeis and Ma'atofais. That they, Lashon Atifas Ksus, means wrapping oneself in a garment, Kalaimar, as if to say Shemisatvim Ba'ayran, Samram, that they wrap themselves in skin and wool, and they not desire to be heated to conceive, in other words, by means of the males. Okay, he gives a different explanation. I don't know why he says that exactly.
Self-service.
Yeah. 43. Vayifreitz ha'ish, and the man became exceedingly, v'yifreitz, and he expanded. The man, very, very much so. The Vayeitzei rabbis, and he had much sheep, flock, ushvaches, and also female slaves, avadim, and male slaves, ugamalim v'chamerim, and camels and donkeys. Rashi in 43. Vayeitzei rabbis, he had a lot of flock. They were fruitful and multiplied more than other flocks.
How did he get the camels and the donkeys?
Yeah, let's see. Ashvachas avadim, slave women and slaves. Meicher tzayna, he would sell his flocks. Vidami mikarim at a high price, but like him called Eila, and he buy all these things. So Rashi explained, right? In other words, it was through the flock. That's how he got it. He got so much out of this. Okay. Continuing. Oh boy. We're in chapter 31, verse 1. Yishma is the b'nei Lavan, and he heard the words of Lavan's sons. B'nei Lavan lemar kach Yaakov is called Asher Lavinu. That Yaakov took all that belongs to our father, because you know what happened? He got the similar ones to what he had. So what did the son say? Oh, look, he took from our father, right? Now there was a thief, right? Me'asher Lavinu also is kol hakavod hazeh. In other words, all that belongs to him, he amassed it that wealth from our father, right? He didn't do it himself. Rashi also literally he made, and this means kones, it means he gathered together. That he amassed forces in Amalek. He's just giving an example. Okay, first,
Jacob's flocks looked a little bit like those of Laban.
well, that was the whole point, right?
Yeah.
He
But
removed
Laban-
all of them, and now they look like them. So they're saying, "Oh, he made it from our father, right?
Okay.
He didn't do it. He didn't do this, right?" Right. This is what's called the conspiracy theory,
Mhm.
right? The first, I think, might be the first one.
Mhm.
All right, conspiracy theory. V'yar Yaakov and Yaakov saw B'nai love, and he saw the face of love, and his face is not with him. Kitmol Shilshem, as it was earlier. Right. In other words, oh, he's thinking I'm a thief. Yomer Hashem el Yaakov, and Hashem said to Yaakov, Shuv el eretz v'secha, return to the land of your fathers, and to your place of upbringing, and I will be with you. Rashi, and number 3. Shuv el eretz v'secha, return to the land of your father, and there I will be with you. But as long as you're associated with this impure one, Lavan, right? It's impossible for my divine presence to be with you, to rest upon you. You gotta move yourself away from here. Got it? Verse number 4. Vishlach Yaakov, and he sent Yaakov Yikra LeRachel, and he called for Rachel and Leah and to Leah Hasadeh El Tzainai, to the field, to his flock. Rashi Yikra LeRachel Leah, he summoned, he called for them, right, for Rachel and Leah. Rachel Tchila, for Rachel first. Leah, and afterwards to Leah, Shaya Yikra Bayis, because Rachel was the principal woman of the household. She Bishvila is Davig Yaakov im Lavan, because on that account, Yaakov formed a relationship with Lavan, right? And even Leah's children agreed to this matter. Sharei, for we see now, Boaz or Beis Dinai, Boaz and his court, Shevet Yehuda are from the tribe of Yehuda. Oimrim, they say, Kerachol lekaleya asher bonu shteihem. Like Rachel and Leah, they both built up. They Dimu Rachel Leah, and they put Rachel ahead of Leah, even though this was a tribe of Yehuda, but Yehuda comes from Leah. Like, I don't get, how that's a proof now, but then in the future, how do you say that now and bring that for the simple meaning? Whatever. You need to understand that. And he said to them, Yaakov said to them, Raya anechi, I see, espnei avicham, the face of your father. He's not with me. Kitmol shilsham, as he was in the past. Velekei avi, and the God of my father, Hayam imadi, was with me. Ve'atena yedaitem. Ve'atena yedaitem ki b'chol koichi ba. And now, no, you have known. Now you have known that b'chol koichi, with all of my might and strength, avadati, I worked as avicham for your father. 7. Ve'avichem hazel, huh? Verse 7. Ve'avichem, and your father, hazel, he began, he mocked me. Hazel, he mocked me. Ve'echlif es maskurti, and he changed my wage, aseres moinim, 10 times. But God will not permit him to harm me. Rashi in 7. Aseres moinim 10 times. Ein moinim palchas me'asara. Countings are no less than 10. I don't know what that means. Because it's plural. Why would that be 10?
Almost like minion.
Yeah. Moinim, countings. Lashon's schum means a total. Klal cheshbon, the entire sum. The Hein Asiriyos, and they are tens, groups of tens. The Madda from here, and we learn Shachliv Tanoi that Lavan changed Yaakov's terms may upon me 100 times. Now there's groups of 10. 10 times 10.
Aseret and Monim.
Yeah.
Monim is 10 and Aseret is 10. There is
Yeah. Yeah. Im Kayema Nekudemiya. Okay. You know what? Folks. Okay, the rest you're gonna do on your own. We're at Ches. Shmuel, thank you.
Yes, if anyone has some money to look
Okay, yeah.
up at the records, we will put it in your spot. It's easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.